Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because we've got Bob Kudla back. And we're going to talk about how to get your finances in order through the end of the year and how to have a good 2024 when it comes to stocks, your finances, and everything that's going on in the economy. And, you know, he's one of my go-to guys when it comes to everything and the go-to guy when it comes to stocks. So, Bob, thank you for being here, as
Oh,
usual.
thanks for having
And
me,
I,
Dan.
and I, I really appreciate it. And I know that this time of the year you're about to head out of town, so it's nice that you made time for us. But first things first, 2024, you know, I think we're going to see a tumultuous year. And one thing that you made the prediction of, which I want to give you an attaboy for, is you said we're going to have a Santa rally, and Santa came big time this year. So,
Santa's still inbound.
yeah.
He's yeah. So what's happening here is just to let everybody know, it has nothing to do with fundamentals, has nothing to do with technical analysis, it has everything to do with all the derivative options that people bought that are expiring. Some this coming Friday and some coming on the 12th of January. And how it works in these derivatives is that as the time moves forward, these derivatives decay. When they decay, the dealers are allowed to push money into the market and move the futures higher, and they're creating this lift. And
Mhm.
then at the beginning of the year, you get all the collateral that gets reinvested. And since the year is going to end up positive for the year, money rolls in. So the first 2 weeks in January tend to be bullish.
Okay.
And so, now barring, anything unforeseen here between, now and the 12th of January, we should see a general continued lift in the market, even to include maybe a blow off top.
Okay.
And so then after that, though, things will get really interesting. And the other thing too, Dan and I were talking before the show, is there's a lot of deterioration underneath the indexes. So if you looked at the S&P 500, seven stocks are carrying almost all the gains. 493 stocks are pretty much flat for the year. And you were saying, hey, let's talk utilities and stuff like that. So they blew up the bond market earlier this year. Then
Mm-hmm.
they blew up natural gas. Then they blew up oil, and this past Sunday they blew up Bitcoin. And so what they're doing is they're systematically destroying these asset values, and the only thing that's going to be left by the time we get to January is going to be the index funds. That's why you're probably hearing us talk, say, Santa rally. I'm looking at my portfolio; it's not really done much. That's because everything's being crowded into these top seven stocks, and that party ends with the options expiring on the 12th of January, and they get reset. And usually from January, the middle of January to the end of March is a weak period in the stock market anyway, and probably even more so now because these flows reverse. It's kind of like the tide came in. Okay, now the tide's is going to roll back out, and it's going to take everything with it. And people are going to be, I think they're going to be shocked because they're getting pretty complacent right now.
I heard them called the Magnificent Seven yesterday,
Yeah,
and
we call them Mag 7.
Mag Seven. Okay, so let's talk about the utilities. You know, a friend of mine says my portfolio, this was 2 years ago, looks like an 80-year-old woman. I've got tons of utilities. So have utilities taken a hit, and are they going to come back as far as dividends and things like that?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of utilities just in general because they do, the way we trade, and personally, and even with Trade Genius, is that we like volatility.
Mm-hmm.
We want the price action because that's how you can gain leverage over time.
Okay.
Utilities are just sit there, and the dividend rates are usually fairly weak.
Okay.
If I'm going to do something low volatility, I'm gonna own shipping companies.
Okay.
And I gave some for last time too,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
a couple of them had already doubled, and plus you're still getting a you know, 10% dividend every year. So I would not be interested in utilities. I'd be more interested in shipping companies.
Okay.
And
Do you think shipping's going to make a comeback because we've had this big shipping recession and everything? I mean, not just shipping, but just the local transport companies. You've got FedEx has had a big hit. You've got UPS has had a big hit. And think about this: when you have this time of the year, when it's the holidays and people are not shipping like they used to, this is grandma's package is not coming out. You
yeah,
know?
and I'm not talking about those kind of shipping. I'm talking about ships that go across the ocean.
Okay.
And so, right now, the big money has been in liquid petroleum and liquid natural gas.
Okay.
And The one I gave out, Dorian LPG, I gave you guys months and months ago, that doubled. It went from 18 to 30, 36, still paying $1 a quarter dividend.
Wow.
And that's pushed back down to 37, 38. It's almost fair value again. FLNG is a great one. I own another one called SBLK. They just merged with another one. And basically, for no cost, they picked up 58 new ships. So
Wow.
that's going to be another great one. They pay a 10% plus dividend.
What was
too.
that one again? Say that one again.
SBLK, Star Bulk Carrier.
Okay.
You remember, you got to ship food and you got to ship energy. So those will always go, even if all the other ones get blown up. Those are going to be fine. And, Panama Canal has a drought. So boats have to go around if they can't get through the canal. And the Suez Canal and the Red Sea are a little iffy right now because of geopolitics and the wars that are going over there.
Okay.
So it forces people to take these longer routes. Shipping companies make more money.
Okay.
And so but you just keep that one off to the side. So that's one area that you wanna own. And look, interest rates are gonna fall. They're just gonna be. You ever see this thing F4L? Higher for longer. So right now the market is pricing in four rate cuts by June or July. We're not going to get any rate cuts till June or July, and so the market's going to pull back. But you're going to have a situation where the interest rates are going to roll over, and dividend companies love interest rates that are falling. So, anything with a dividend you want to own, and anything that has weekly options that you could sell against your position called covered calls, you're going to want as well. And I have a really, really, really good one for you when we talk bonds here.
Okay.
That I personally just put a bunch of money in because it's a nice way of doing work. Instead of paying short-term capital gains, you pay dividend yield, which is, if you're in the 25 or 30% tax bracket, now you're in the 15% tax bracket, and you don't have to do any work.
Okay.
And
very cool.
It's a bond fund. It's pretty cool.
What's the name of the bond fund?
It's called TLTW.
TLTW.
And it's paying out 12% right now. And
wow.
And it's the 20-year bond fund, so they just automatically are writing calls every week against the position. They pay a dividend out every month, and you could stick it in your IRA if you want, or you can replace that with something else that you're getting short-term cap gains on, and it'll lower your tax rate too.
Very cool. Now, Bob runs Trade Genius, and for over a year now, I've been lucky enough to convince Bob to come on camera, but he has a trading platform that, and again, he has said it doesn't make a bit of difference if stocks are going up or they're going down. You're going to make money. And like he talked about volatility, but if you go to danlovestrading.com, Bob set up a discount package for his services, and you can get these bundles that he carried over from Black Friday where you can save a bunch of money and get access to Bob and access to his trading. And I've seen people do this with very little money. I've seen people do it with a lot of money with Bob. And the advantage to it is that everybody gets, if you get to a certain level that you purchase, you get access to Bob and you get his trade picks. He's also got a podcast that they do daily on YouTube as well. And with the different stock picks. And I love reading your stuff, man, because it's always so interesting. But take a look at danlovestrading.com. But next thing, okay, gold and silver came back to reality in the last few days. What do you think about that?
It basically touched all-time highs, and you usually get a reaction down, and a lot of it has to do with the expectation for the markets to pull back. So I expect gold and silver to pull back until basically the banks run out of cash to buy Yellen's bonds, and there's like $900 billion left in the banks to do that. And then after that, the Fed's going to have to engage, or interest rates will go through the roof. And so we're thinking around March. That's why we're saying this March bottom probably is going to come in.
Okay.
That's when the Fed's going to have to engage in QE, and then you're going to see gold, silver, and Bitcoin go back and start mooning again.
It's funny when people know that I'm going to see Bob. It's like three friends. Hey, yeah, I want to go see Bob Kudla, and we're going to film. They all as I'm driving here, they're all peppering me with questions. Ask them about Wells Fargo Bank. Ask them about this. Ask them about that. Do you think we're going digital currency in 2024? What's your opinion on that? Do you think we're going to go digital currency in 2024? No.
No, they're going to let another country try it out and see what civil war breaks out on that.
I don't mean to laugh, but okay, that's a good way to put it. Okay, so but anyways, I know that you're not. You like stocks over metals. But as far as metals in 2024, do you see them going up in 2024?
Yeah, I think we're going to probably pull back into the end of March. Even though it's a seasonally strong period, I think they front ran gold and silver, and now you're going to get a pullback until the Fed has to engage. When the Fed engages, you see gold, silver, platinum, palladium, Bitcoin will all start ripping,
Okay.
and that's when the inflation is going to roll back up higher too.
Okay. Energy stocks. I know you love Exxon. You still real bullish on Exxon. I know it's your largest position. You've told us that before.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about oil in general for 2024?
Yeah, so right now oil pulls back into the winter, and Exxon's pulled back. I think it went a little bit under $98 today. That's a support area, so hope it holds. But I sell calls against my Exxon position every week, so I don't worry about ExxonMobil. Energy in general, these next 6 weeks are usually bullish for oil, and so we'll just see if they get a pullback. It was kind of a weird day in the market this week. They had a cruise missile hit an oil tanker, and the price of oil went down $3. So there's manipulation going on right now to try to push oil down. But you should see a bounce in oil into January. Then it'll also fall into April, and then natural gas and oil will have. They love April. So if you want to get into those names, you probably should wait until end of February to start trying to get in. Now you can trade them all the time, but if you want to take a longer term position on it, I would wait till late winter for
Are
those.
there things that you're hot on right now?
No,
nothing. Okay, good.
No, we're at the wall here. We're complaining in the room today. It's just the last 3 weeks have been abysmally boring. We had a little burst of action with the Bitcoin miners, but they're pulling back pretty hard again, and the stock market is just grinding up 0.1%, 0.2% a day, kind of a thing.
Okay.
And so it's very difficult to make money, very low volume right now. And so you're just better off just sitting back and waiting. Nothing's undervalued except for natural gas right now. And they have it on a death watch. So you can't get in front of that train. You have to wait for the momentum to come back in.
Well, do you think you think they're going to get rid of natural gas somehow? I know that certain places want to, but do you really think it's going to disappear?
Yeah, here's the issue with that. And this is the thing that people don't get because they say, oh, everybody needs it, we should get it. But oil companies are in the business of producing oil, but natural gas comes up with the oil. And so it's like a freebie for them. And so what they do is they immediately sell off into the futures market that production of natural gas.
Okay.
And so the United States is, I don't want people to know this, we're the number one producer of energy in the world. We're number one, not Saudi Arabia, not Russia, United States. And excuse me. And we've been increasing it. So when oil production increases, natural gas production is increasing as it's dropping the price. So until that production levels off, we're going to see natural gas get pushed down. But the good news is it's getting liquefied and it's getting sent over to Asia and to Europe. That's kind of how you play the market. You look for these correlations, right? If natural gas is sucking wind, okay, who benefits from lower natural gas, right? So the shipping companies shipping it over to Europe and Asia, because their natural gas prices aren't falling. It's very local. You can't put a pipe across the ocean.
Okay.
And so I'm not bullish on anything right now other than dividend paying stocks and cash, and I'm just waiting to see how the when the Fed basically has to step in, and until January we're kind of in Christmas mode.
Yeah, so. And here's the thing, I really think that real estate still is going to be kind of a wait and see for 2024. I think you're going to see prices still high. My friend that owns the foreclosure company has had his busiest week in 3 years. And he's got, really the banks are starting to step it up. The guy posted 14 houses before 2 o'clock yesterday, which is incredible. It really is getting busier now because people are starting to have life experiences that get in the way, whether it be divorce, job change, whatever. But the prices are still not dropping down. We're seeing the same thing in the car market too, where people went and during COVID, bought a $20,000 car for $35,000 and financed it at 21% just to get into a vehicle, and then lost their job again. And the car gets sent back to the auction and they won't sell it at $30,000. You know?
Yeah, so this is typical. So if you don't see prices falling but you see sales falling, it's a mismatch, and then usually price falls in that environment. Look, where I live in a community that homes never stay on the market for more than a week. Even like 2008, 2009, everybody wants to move into my neighborhood. Now we have homes on our market that have been sitting for weeks. Now either A, they want too much for the homes, or B, people can't afford them. And I have customers of mine that have sold homes and are looking to basically to buy again. And they said the prices on the homes that are being sold are at ridiculous prices, and they're
No,
not going to buy. They're going
it's
to rent.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's absolutely, so
that's what's going to drag it out, Dan.
yeah,
So people ask me, and I've said on this show too, is that real estate will not be a good deal for at least the next 10 to 15 years.
yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. You mentioned dividend stocks. Do you have any other dividend stocks you can mention?
Well, TLTW is the one I really like the most.
Okay.
And then the shippers I just mentioned, you have TRMD that's over 10%. You have Star Bulk I just mentioned that's over 10%.
Wow.
You have what else do I own in that area? I own GSL, which is over 10%. These are all shipping companies, and the prices are all holding up really well. And then on the energy side, like I said, I own ExxonMobil is my big one, and then also Canadian National is our other one. But there's also a dividend paying energy stock called USOI, and that's another one. Don't buy it until you start seeing an uptrend. And for those who are listening that are already customers, let the worm turn higher, and then buy USO on a hourly chart, and just buy it. And I think it paid 28% dividends last year. The only problem is that oil went
Wow.
down 20%. So,
Yeah.
but you're still net good, and you don't have to do anything. You just sit there and let it collect, and you can share repurchase it. So actually, I took a little dabble on that one personally. I haven't called it out yet. I want to see how it performs. It also pays monthly. So these are really nice stocks. So they have one for silver too, by the way.
Very
And
interesting.
so you buy these on uptrends. If you can run a 2 or 3 month uptrend, you're picking up these nice dividends at the same time as you're getting your portfolio assets increased at the same time. So those are the ones that I like the most. And personally, for me, between now and the end of 2025, I'll be positioned that my living expenses will be covered totally by dividends, and and that should be everybody's goal going out. So you shouldn't have to worry about, do I make another nickel working,
Yeah.
or cap gains. I don't care then.
Yeah.
That's the goal we're working towards as a family.
That sounds like fantasy land. But the other thing is Bob is having a trading seminar in Florida in January this year. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to go to. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan, it's sold out. So we got to have another one of these.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be so
No,
blunt.
no, but it was like, sorry, that's
I know
sold
Dan
out.
was angling
Yeah.
to get in there, and I said, I'm just teasing.
I'd like a Florida. Would you guys like to see me walk around Florida again and film? But the thing is, it's sold out. But we gotta do another one of those for the audience, and
Yeah.
and that is we've talked about having an event for the channel and having you do trading. But I think that would be very cool to have you live and have people sit there, because I've seen, like, you've given me examples of people that had very little money and have done well trading, and people that had a large amount of money, and it's very exciting. And you give a lot of help with all of this. And again, Trade Genius is the platform, but if you go to danlovestrading.com, that's the back door to get all the bundles and the discounts and everything like that. So if you get to Trade Genius and you miss out on the bundles, just tell them you saw them on Dan's show also. Yep. Because they're always good about giving people credit for stuff like that. So it's always been nice. But,
yeah, and that's an important point. If you come directly to my site because you forgot where his landing page is, just tell him you came from Dan. So I can give Dan the credit and the discount to you. So always let us know.
We want Bob back. That's what that is. Now, a couple things. Okay, I have a real problem with all the numbers we're hearing. The unemployment, I don't believe. I don't believe that the unemployment numbers are as low as they say they are. Do you believe that they are?
Absolutely not.
Okay. inflation. Do you think our inflation is at 3.1%? Let's celebrate this.
So I took a sheet. Some guy said we're going down to 2% inflation. I said, well, according to the BLS, we have minus 30% deflation in healthcare costs. Now, the same day I posted that was I got my healthcare increase for 2024, which is up 10%. So I sent that over to my health provider and said, I'm looking for my 40% discount. I haven't heard back yet.
Yeah.
So
okay, that, and the other thing is insurance. Insurance is a killer. Do you want to invest in insurance companies right now?
the problem is their payout ratios suck. So they may be charging more, but they're being reactive because they have to get approval for the increases, but their costs are going up higher than their approval. So
Okay.
so auto and home, it depends where you are. Like homeowners for me here hasn't been too bad, but people in Florida just
Oh
getting
God,
absolutely barbecued.
the stuff that people
Yeah.
write me, the stories that have been sent to me, it is unbelievable. Condos where the condo association had $40,000 last year and it's $230,000 this year. And they've got to spread that out amongst everybody. And you've got a lot of retirees and people on fixed incomes, and it's killing people. But that's the one thing that I always tell people: when you're looking at houses, talk to the insurance company that has the policy on the house. What's it going to look like? Will you write this policy again? Because I'm having people write me that are closing escrow and they can't get insurance on the house, just flat out denied. So
no, and that's happened to me when I owned a home in North Carolina. I owned it on the beach, and the federal government made a decision that this was no longer in federal flood. My insurance company immediately dropped the flood policy. My mortgage company said, if you don't get a flood policy, we're going to foreclose on the mortgage. And so you're like trapped. You're already in it. And so I had to get insured by Lloyd's of London for like 3 times the normal price, and then I just quickly paid off the mortgage. It was a smaller house, and I had to pay up the mortgage so I can drop the flood insurance. And so that's what's going to happen to a lot of people. People think it's the front end that gets you in these investments. It's the back end that bites you in the rear end.
Mm-hmm.
It's the maintenance cost. And look, I own a condo right over here.
We're at the Ritz-Carlton again, by the way, guys.
It's not in the Ritz-Carlton, on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And the cost of maintenance has gone sky high, and so you have to maintain these properties, or your tenants can just walk away from paying, and so it's just ridiculous. And our costs have gone up. So our margin on that condo from cash flow, because we own it outright, is we're 11% less margin than we were last year.
Wow.
Cash on cash. And so, we can't really raise the rates much anymore because we're at the wall here, what you could charge people for living in a condo. People say, oh, just raise the rates. Well, it's not that simple.
Yeah, you can't, okay, it's $5,500 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't keep raising it. It's nuts. So,
no. And if you raise it and they leave, you lose 2 months to get a new person
right
in there, and you might as well just keep the rate the same.
Exactly. So, okay. So, Poi, let's close it out with this. Anything that you recommend that people do to get ready for 2024 financially?
I would say if you had a really, really good year, which you should have if you have a portfolio that's just been following the market, is start to adjust it more into cash going into 2024. People smarter than me saying after January 12th things could get really hairy really fast, like cliff kind of fall offs.
Okay.
And so, look, it may not happen, but I'd rather be on the side of I went to cash and it didn't happen versus I stayed fully invested and I got my head handed to me. So I've been raising cash. I've been moving everything to dividends. I've been tightening up my call writing programs. We've been offering less trades to our subscribers over this period of time because I don't want people caught in a trade that a lot of times what people do is they get in a trade, they feel obligated to keep it because it didn't make the number they wanted to make. People have a hard time just saying, I better just close the trade. So we're being cautious on that side too. We want to see what happens on the other side of Christmas here, and things can get rocky. There's too many things out there that can just upset the apple cart even between now and then. The Fed could do something crazy. Iran could send a missile the wrong way, and just stuff like that. And things are too good right now. You should take cash.
Okay, take cash. And again, the January 12th date is the expiration date, and that's when a lot of these are expiring. and that's when you're going to see major changes. And
Yeah.
again, all these bonuses, all these things that we've talked about on the channel about how all these banks are paying bonuses out, and you're going to see them ride it up, and then it's just going to be like that wave, and it's just going to collapse at that point.
They did that in 2008 too. They paid all the bonuses out, then they laid a bunch of people off, and then they went to the government and asked for money. Hey, one thing too I want to mention, our podcast that we do is we now have access to congressional insiders buying and selling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we do those in shorts if you ever want to check those out. And then Dan, if I see anything interesting, I'll just send them over to you. You can throw them on your podcast
Yeah, absolutely.
too. So
absolutely. But
I don't mind doing that.
again, Trade Genius, take a look at the daily podcast that they do on YouTube. Plus, if you want to take advantage of Bob's trading, it's danlovestrading.com. The link will be below. I'll put it right on top for you. But as always, Bob, thank you so much. And I'm excited about this, but I also am happy to hear that, as I've sold stuff, that I'm in the right spot too. So
yeah, in good shape. And maybe you and I should get together right after the January 12th event.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then and just see kind of how that all played out.
Yeah, I'm not invited to Florida this year, so.
Hey, but if people are interested in the training in the future, just let Dan know. He may want to. He may put one together.
Well,
and have me come
I've told
to
him this. Yeah, that we're going to do that. We're going to have an event, and people hate it when I talk over you, and I'm sure I'm going to get one for that.
I'm used to it.
It's okay. But we should have our own event and have access to Bob and stuff like that too. So thank you again. danlovestrading.com. You guys want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iallegedly.com. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and share your thoughts on everything, and onward and upward, guys. And I'll see you very soon. And thank you for being here. And thank you for being here, too.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody.